Hello and welcome. My name is Kennedy from Before the Shot Clock. I'm really happy to be back on making another episode. I know that I did have a week off there. I just had to get some stuff straightened out and figured out. Make sure my family's all good, do all that stuff. But I'm glad that we are able to get back into this. I did miss that week. I don't really want to go into talking about that weekend as a whole of lacrosse, just because we're living in the now. We're not living in the past, but we will touch on the past, right? So we're going to recap last weekend's games for those who missed the games, and then we're going to get into the future, and then I'm going to finish with a lacrosse story. So first game of the week last week was Halifax versus Colorado. Man, you're going to realize that non-con Thompson is my kind of player. I love those guys like Danny Logan, non-con, Levi Anderson, Alex Simmons, like the guys who piss people off. I love those guys. My Brad Marchand-esque players. I love those guys. I think that some people don't like the way they play because they think that they are not playing the game the right way. But what I think is that they have intangibles out on the floor. They draw penalties. They give their teams power plays. They bring excitement. They get the guys fired. They're spark plugs. We love that. So, yes, non-con Thompson is my kind of player. When he lays out Dylan Ward in this game, I lost it. I was so excited. But let's talk about Halifax, Colorado a little more. Big night on and off the ball for Andrew Q. Colorado's offense is some big boys. You can see that they move around the floor really, really well. And Q and Jack Hanna, like those are the epitome of what that team is. And they lead by example. They're big. They go to the net hard. They shoot. They set their picks. Great players. They have tons of skill. In this game, one thing that stood out to me was Cody Jamieson. Jammer's still looking elite. Like Cody Jamieson was a Six Nations Aero player back in the day, and I loved watching Jamieson play. Like he was so sick. But he's still killing it. Still killing it. Can't go wrong with Jammer. I would take him on any team if I'm in the NLL. But he's got his allegiance to Halifax, and I'm not going to hate on that. Great game by Dylan Ward. Dylan Ward stood on his head. I mean, Colorado won this game, and I think a big reason why they won the game was Dylan Ward. Because Halifax is no easy feat. The goaltending was the difference in this game. And I think Dylan Ward was the reason why they came out on top. Next game, Buffalo versus Ottawa. Our Lord and Savior, Jeff Teat, did what he does. He always does what he does, which is score goals, get assists, get points, win games. Jeff Teat's unreal. Big reason why Ottawa won this game. Came right down to the end. Matt Vince, Dennis Morris, St. Catharines, Ontario teacher. Vino is a legend in the game, and he's still crushing it. I know everybody in Buffalo was hating on him for a bit there, but let me tell you, Vino he's legit. He always has been, always will be. When he's ready to retire, he's going to go out on his own terms because anybody's still going to want to have Vino on their team. Higgins played great. Can't go wrong with that goalie either. He does have his off games once in a while, but I think Higgins had a really good game. It was a nail biter right down to the end. Ottawa won 10-9 in Bandit land and knocked off the defending champs. That was a big statement game for Ottawa, saying, hey, we're for real. So good for Ottawa. Shout out that team. 10-9. That's a good score if you're defense. And Ottawa's defense keeps showing that they're someone that you don't want to mess with. Georgia versus Calgary. Easiest way for me to say this is Georgia smoked them. just smoked him. Dobson played great as the trend continues this season. The guy just keeps winning, keeps stopping balls. He's got like the best goals against average in the league, I think, and he's lights out every game. Georgia's young transition game, fast. They're scoring on transition. They were killing it, and Mr. Lyle Thompson is back, baby. He is back, and he's looking like his old self again. Lyle lit it up. There's a reason why he was the first Nike athlete in lacrosse. He's goated. He's sick. Shout out Lyle Thompson for getting back into his ways and showing everybody Lyle's still around. Vancouver versus San Diego. Packed Vancouver barn. It didn't look like it if you're watching the broadcast, but Vancouver opened their upper bowl. They had just shy of 11,000 people in the arena, which is pretty good for a lacrosse game. I think if they had the lower bowl only, they would just hold it out. So shout out Vancouver's fans for coming strong on country night. I'm not gonna lie, I don't mind country music, but there were moments where that game should have been so much more exciting, but they had country music playing during the exciting moments, and it kind of was a buzzkill. So, I mean, a lot of people went, it worked out, whatever, for the sake of fan experience, but for me personally, it's a no for me, dog. Kavanaugh is so shifty. So San Diego, Vancouver was a good game. Kavanaugh is so shifty. He's tough to defend. You just see one quick jab step, and he was beating his defenders to the crease all day. And he's got a wicked shot. Charlon Beatty's ripping it up. Shooter's going to shoot. That guy just keeps ripping goals. I mean, Charlon Beatty is another guy who's going to get better as time goes on. He's still young, and I think the best is still to come. He's also got good guys playing with him who are going to take that pressure away. Like when we look at guys like Keegan Ball, and we get guys like Dixon, like they're going to take some of that pressure away so Charlon Beatties can put that ball in the back of the net. So shout out Charlon Beatties. Keep killing it, buddy. Doing great. San Diego got a big lead in that game early, but Vancouver showed why they are the best in the West. But San Diego still held on with the W after in the last seconds of the game. Vancouver scored, refs called it off, no goal. That sucks. But you know what? Stay classy, San Diego. They won in fashion. We're all for that. San Diego just knocked off, to me, one of the best teams in the West. So that's a huge statement win as well. I think we had a few statement wins in the NL this week, and San Diego, that was one of them for sure. Okay, moving on. Rock versus Rochester. Rookies were lights out for Toronto. Hugh Kellner, English, Kirst, Hiltz. All of them were lights out. They were all super good. They all put the ball in the back of the net, and they're all rookies. So I mean, if you're making an impact like that, and you're leading your team by example, great job. That's the best game I've seen Mark the Mailman Matthews play in a long time. I know Al said he delivered. Yeah, he delivered the ball into the back of the net consistently, and even off ball he looked like he was moving way better. I don't know what's going on with Mark Matthews this year. Like, he's not moving as much as well as he used to in the past, but that past game against Rochester, he looked good. He looked quick for such a big guy and such a guy of his age. Like, Mark Matthews, you're not a young guy anymore, but we will take that kind of performance from you all the time. It's another close game in a classic rivalry matchup. Big second half for the Rock, as Rochester was kind of running away with it, and then the Rock bounced back, and Toronto won the game 11-10. Another really close game. Saskatchewan versus Oshawa. Sask's D looked good. Keenan led the way for them, for the Saskatchewan Rush. Levi Anderson, as I mentioned him earlier, dog. Big fan of Levi Anderson. I think he brings a little bit of a different element to an offense. You get a lot of guys with all about the hands, all about the quickness. Levi Anderson's not the quickest guy, but he's going to shoot the ball on the net. He's got a good shot. He's going to be a dog in the corners. He'll be a dog on the boards. He's not going to make it easy for you, and you can't leave him alone because he will make you pay. Ethan Walker on Oshawa, he's becoming a real threat from the shooter spot. Alex Simmons had a really good game, but I thought Ethan Walker consistently has been surprising me. He plays that like top corner spot, and just keeps ripping sidearms into the net. If you remember early in the season, when I called out Billy Hofstrauser for not stepping up into the lane on a game-winning goal by Ethan Walker. Ethan Walker is now making everybody in NL pay like that. NL defenseman, you may want to step into the lane on that guy because he can shoot. Okay. Alex Simmons had a really good game, led by example, as he always does. You know, he is the evil villain in the NLL. Everybody hates him when they're not on his team, but I'm sure the boys in that Oshawa locker room love that guy. Alex Simmons, though, I want to know how many goals has he scored this year? If somebody wants to search back and look at the stats, I want to know how many goals have been called back that he has scored this year. The guy keeps burying, but his foot is in the crease, or somebody else is in the crease, like 90% of the time. Like, the guy can't go low because he just keeps getting his goals called off. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, let the man score. Referees, just give him goals at this point. Okay, let's just give him goals. You know, I don't care if his foot's in the crease. Just give him goals. He deserves it. The guy's going airborne every third shift. Like, that's wild, man. Anyway, Saskatchewan's defense looked good. And Saskatchewan's showing out. Like, they're just week in and week out. They're just winning. They're just winning games. So that's that. Saskatchewan wins that game against Oshawa. Philly and Vegas. So Vegas started hot and played great defense all game. Good goaltending by Demood and Kells. And I'm hoping for Vegas' sake they can rally behind the Kells performance tonight and string a few games together now. Because Kells looked in the pocket this game. He has been unpredictable. We don't really know what to expect from Kells week in and week out. But I think he is a good goalie. And I think that when he's on, and his team needs to back him. You can't have a bad week now. At this point of the season, we're going into week 9. You need to start stringing some wins together if you want to be a postseason team that people got to worry about. The one thing I really caught on that game, good defense obviously, but this Blake guy, who is he? Firstly, I'm gonna have to do some research. I'm sorry, I should know who he is, but I don't know who he is. Secondly, I want to see that guy chuck some fists because he's a beast, man. I don't think there's a guy on that floor that really should have messed with him. I know Fennell got into it with him, but like it would have been a bad move, I think, for Fennell if he did throw it out, because that Blake guy's a big boy and he looks about it. Just like you could just tell when a guy gets into it that he's about it. He's about it for sure. Okay, so that's this past week. We're burning today. Upcoming games. real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. San Diego games. San Diego versus Philly. I expect San Diego to win, but it's going to be a battle. It's going to be rough. Last time those two teams played, it was a battle. So let's see it again. Vancouver versus Ottawa. Also on Friday night. It's a toss-up after last weekend's performances, so I won't predict it. I don't think Vancouver had their best game last week. And I think Ottawa had their best game last week. Who knows which team is going to come out locked in. Depends who's more ready to go. Toronto versus Georgia on Saturday. It's probably going to come down to goaltending. It's probably going to be Georgia who wins. And the reason I say that is Nick Rose is hurt. Which means whichever goalie Toronto starts, whether it's Troy Holochuk or Orleman, they'll need to step up because you got Dobson on the other end. Dobson, great goalie. Those other guys, they've been backups most of their careers. We don't really know what to expect. But those goalies, if they're going to play, they got to step up because missing Rose is going to hurt. Also, Toronto, who does not have Latrell Harris, who is, in my eyes, probably their best defenseman. He's the leader on that defense. So missing Latrell is gonna hurt. So we will see what happens there. That's that game. Oshawa versus Colorado will be another great game. But based on how Colorado played last week, I think Colorado is the favorite. I guess we'll see. All these games will be great games. There's not going to be one dud this weekend. So definitely make sure you're watching some NL lacrosse. Key transactions. So as I mentioned there, Rose is hurt. He's put on the IR. Orleman traded to Toronto from Buffalo. They're rivals. I believe he was traded for a 3rd round or a 4th round draft pick. Not sure who's going to start. Is it going to be Orleman or Holochuk? I think they're going to go Orleman, but we don't know. Theed traded from Halifax. Dawson Theed traded from Halifax to Oshawa, which will add that grit to Oshawa that they kind of need on the offense to fill that void. Stephen Keogh, the vet, has entered the chat and will be rejoining the Halifax Thunderbirds. So it'll be nice to see Stephen Keogh come back because he's been around forever now. I still remember when he played on the original Rochester Nighthawks, and he was fantastic, as well as Six Nations Arrows. So we'll see what happens this upcoming week in NL lacrosse. Also, I wanted to mention Emerson Clark has been signed by the Oshawa Firewolves since my last episode. There was the whole thing between Halifax and Oshawa, and they were beefing a little bit out there. It was a nasty game, and Glenn Clark had some issues with it. He was very vocal about it with the media, and a couple days later he went and signed Emerson Clark. Emerson Clark played in the NL. He also played in the AHL and the East Coast Hockey League. Emerson Clark is a fighter. His intentions for him joining a team is probably 75% to fight. So we will see what happens with that circumstance. I would love to see an Oshawa Halifax playoff game now with Dawson Theed and Emerson Clark on Oshawa. That would be crazy. Okay. Enough fight night. Lack story of the week. Okay, I said enough fight night, but here's a lack story of the week that involves fighting. If you look up Dan Ladouceur from the Toronto Rock back in the day versus Sean Evans, who played for the Rochester Nighthawks at the time, and you search up that fight on YouTube, it's a throwback. Ladouceur just tosses Sean Evans around. He throws him up into the net, then throws him up against the boards. Just good brawl. I am the kid banging on the glass, losing their mind as Evans gets ragdolled. in front of me. So search that up if you want to see a young Ken in that video. Anyway, so that's this episode. I did want to show off my fancy hat. It says yes you can. It was embroidered and created by yours truly. I'm learning how to embroider right now, so threw it on a hat. So there will be Yes You Can sports merch coming out eventually, and I'm very excited about that. You know, for those who don't know, Yes You Can sports is basically like the umbrella that is above all of these shows, whether it's James Caron's Hockey with Balls show, my show, Beat the Bookies, which is the UFC show, Fuel Up Fridays with Nitro, which is going to be our NASCAR show. There's going to be a bunch of shows going on, and they all are under Yes You Can Sports. So Yes You Can Sports, please support the channel. Please like, please share, please comment. It goes so far for me, and it goes so far for the guys. You know, we're only strong together, and we love to support each other, but we'd love to have the support from the community as well. That means a lot because we are passionate about what we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. We want what's best for the sports that we talk about. So let's join together and be stronger together. All right. Thank you so much. And we will see you next weekend. Enjoy lacrosse this weekend. And let's have a good one. Take it easy. Peace.